Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we'll do is start with a moment of prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. It's 9:30 or 10:30.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With the, we can go out of order for a moment. I'd like to have Todd, because we're gonna have to appoint a chairperson. If you could take over the meeting then, please.
Sure. We'll open the floor to nominations for the position of chair. Are there any nominations?
I'll nominate Sean Christie.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. It's only been one nomination, so we can, there a motion to approve John Christie as the chairperson of the Board of Election.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Would the chair like to take over, or should I
You're
continue?
doing such a great job. I didn't, I was afraid that without Deb being here, there would be a
Things would fall apart.
fall apart, but you're doing
Almost
very,
good. Almost.
you're doing very well, Todd. Thank you.
Okay, well, we're on a roll. Let's get are there any nominations for the position of vice chair of the Board of Election? This is just a nomination.
All right, I'll nominate Dave Parker.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. All those in favor of appointing David Parker as the vice chair of the Board of Elections signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah.
The motion to approve the minutes of the December 4th, 2024 election board meeting.
So moved.
There's second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. We turn our attention to Chestnut Hill for polling locations. Sarah?
So for Chestnut Hill 4, we have, I spoke to the manager out there and we can use the park building for that location. So that's secured. We're good for that location. I am looking at, for the other Chestnut Hill that was located in West End Fire Company, I'm looking at the Birches, their clubhouse. I'm going to go and look at it. I have to look at it before I can. I'm not sure if it's large enough. And
Can you find it?
Yeah.
I mean, is it people know where it's at?
yeah,
Okay.
most of the voters are from
That
that
area.
vicinity anyway. And that right now they're driving all the way down to West End Fire Company. So it would be a little more easier for them to get to.
Will be large enough for this year.
Yeah. So that's next on my list of things to do. And then I might as well tell you now, I got a phone call from the YMCA yesterday that they're going to be under construction. They said I'll be good for the May election, but they cannot guarantee November election. So I'm gonna see, my thought was possibly the Stroudsburg High School, if we already have a polling location there, but if they don't have school that day, I'm not sure yet, because that's for next year, for that calendar year. If they don't have school next year, November 4th, maybe I can just put that there for the one time and then, move back.
I kind of thought Strasburg was trying to work with the schedule for elections.
They do, but I just want to make sure before I say definite, I'll just move it there. You know what I mean? I want to make sure. It's always right outside of the gymnasium in the hall,
Right.
so. So I just want to make sure that there is no school before
Very good. Do we have a second location in Chestnut Hill for your other spot?
I'm going to look at that. The Birches, their building, the only other place I was thinking was the Zion Church, which is out in Broadsville further.
Okay.
I don't really
As
have.
long as we have a
anything else.
plan B.
Yes, they did.
Very good. 5-year notice.
So we mailed, the 5-year notices on January 15th. And there was 1,142 notices that went out for 5 years. Permanent voter mailing notices went out, January, what date was that? 14th? No.
I think he sent it out by the second week in January.
Yeah, like the second week in January. 31,115 permanent mailers went out.
Excellent.
On 12/9/2024, we canceled for 2 federal elections, 7,252 people. But they hadn't voted in 2 federal elections.
Anything else?
All I have for everything.
For those of you that might not have known, Sarah was out for a bit of time. And I think that the board should recognize Penny for stepping up and stepping in the breach and continuing the running of the office. She did a fantastic job, even though I did not go down there as often as I should have. I have been.
That helped out. They did a great job.
Is there any public comment? Teresa?
The public statement today for the election items is that the last election board meeting is I verbally spoke about issues that happened at precincts and how it was handled at the precincts and within the administration building. And I would like to once again say that being here in the administration building myself, and being able to talk with Sarah, Penny, or anybody else in the office while things were happening outside the administration building at the precincts, at the polling precincts. It was helpful for me being here, and the election office was very helpful in handling my questions I had ASAP right away. And with that said, is in addition to what I reported at the last election board meeting, I have the list here, and it's 15 different items that I compiled of things that went on at the polling precincts. And it's nothing against anybody or any organization in particular. It is a lot for organization and getting people on board and getting people to follow the law. I would just like to remind the people that are the election workers, going from judge of elections all the way down to the people that manage the electronic poll pads, is that many of the laws, if you don't remember them, or for anybody in the county or in Pennsylvania, if a lot of the laws under Title 25 in the election code, a lot of the laws are under Article 12 for preparation for conduct of provisional and elections. So that's the general election. So when people have questions about, like say the oath of office being taken first thing in the morning at the polling precincts, that's under section 1226 under Article 12. And that's all I have. So as I said, I'll give the 15 items that I've listed, I'll give to the election board, which we've already discussed. Now here it is in print.
Thank you. Ann?
I don't have comment. I just wanted some clarification about things that Sarah said. Does the park and for Chestnut Hill 4, what's the official name of what park is?
It's right next to the municipal building, so Chestnut Hill Park Building.
It's on the left-hand side as you're going out.
That's what it's called, Chestnut
Yes.
Hill
Chestnut.
Park Building. Okay. The other thing. Okay, you say 5-year notice, and that's the same as 2 federal elections. Or 2
the first
presidential. are
notice
they
of
like-
the-
It's the first notice of before
They are canceled for
they
the
are
2
canceled
federal.
for the 2 federal.
Okay, but you call it a 5-year notice.
Right.
Correct.
You also call it a notice after 2 missed federal elections. Is that the same thing?
No.
So when you say 2 missed federal elections, does that include like every 2 years when there's a congressional election? I'm really confused about that.
So 2 federal elections, so that it basically comes down to 5 years. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to put it that
Twice.
way, but the state, that's how they do it. Federal, 2 federal elections we have. So they get canceled.
Right, I
Yeah.
understand.
It's probably better to say 2 presidential, because I think that's what you mean, what it means.
Yeah, because there's congressional elections every 2 years. So when you say 2 federal, then I'm not sure what.
But if you participate in a vote in between that, between the two,
Between which 2?
The 2 presidential.
2 presidentials, then you
You're
get a get out of free jail card.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's just. All right,
That's how the state notices that that's what's being canceled. It's called 2 federal elections. That's exactly what the state calls it.
so they don't count the congressional as federal? That's what I'm.
It's always the
confused.
presidential we do it, but when we're canceling it, our job study that we do on that is called the 2 federal elections.
And you're
That's
only
how it's-
counting presidential.
Correct.
It's
It's always done after the presidential election that December.
Okay, all right. Oh, and when you talked about 31,115,
Permanent application.
those are mail-in ballot applications?
correct.
Yes.
Okay, all right, because
The yearly mailer,
for people who check box 7.
that they want it to be a permanent.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's always higher after a presidential, obviously.
All
You know,
right, okay, I think that's probably,
that's a lot for us. That is a lot.
yeah, okay, I just. wanted
It's
to
like
make sure
10,000 more than last year.
Last year.
You were talking.
It's almost a third of the electorate.
5-year notice. Okay, and the 5-year notice you do every January.
Yes.
Okay, so then you said December 9th, you canceled 7,252 people.
Yeah.
So is that in
That's the-
addition to the January cancellation?
So that's 2 federals. They had been notified 2 times. They still didn't vote, so they get
Oh,
canceled.
this is like the second note.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you.
You're on double secret probation after the first notice.
Okay, so when, all right, so if they didn't vote November 4th or 5th, again, then they're canceled, that they've already gotten the first notice and the second notice says you're
Correct.
canceled.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you.
Anything else?
I just want to say something real quick. I'm sorry. So we just got all the offices that are gonna be up for 2025. So I just sent them to the party chairs this morning. And I'll be putting them on the website also.
Did you have a question about the judges?
Oh, yeah. So I just questioned Judge Worthington because she retired before her term was up, and I just wanted to make sure with the state that it wasn't for the remainder of her term, but it is a full 10-year term. It will go on because she retired before the beginning of the year. So there'll be 2 judge positions up for 10-year term. And then in November, there'll be Judge Williamson, no, Judge Mark will be up for retention, but that only goes on November ballot.
Okay. Any other questions?
And the petitions
Back.
for what, February?
18th?
Well, You're able to
We
pick
will,
them up.
we will start handing them out February 12th, but you cannot start circulating until February 8th.
God bless you.
Some petitions have to be sent to Harrisburg, or do they all come to your office?
No, the judges, that all goes through Harrisburg.
The statewide judges. What about the county? judge?
No, the county judges too.
Also go to Harrisburg, but everybody else goes to voter registration. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was answered.
Thank you. Anything else?
Before, this is just trivia, but I think it's important. I went to Ecuador and Peru 2 years ago. And they have a law that you have to vote. If you don't vote, you cannot get a job, you cannot apply for services, you can't get an apartment, nothing. So when I talk to voters and they say to me, I'm not registered to vote, I say, where are you from? And they say Peru or Ecuador. And I say, but there you're required to vote. Why don't you vote here? And they said, because I have the right not to vote. I know, but
Religious freedom.
Everybody has different freedoms. That's right.
Australia the same.
If there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn? We are. Thank you.
You guys got.